Fans love something about every member of the show's great cast, even villains like Jamie, whose actions are often understandable given the circumstances. All of the main characters in the show have two sides, which makes it hard for fans to choose their favorites. The most memorable characters aren't always the ones you like the most, like the horrible Beth Dutton or the scary Caroline Warner. Let's talk about the best characters, ranked by likability. First, Caroline Warner and Jamie Dutton. When she hired Beth to work for Market Equities, Caroline Warner didn't know how much Beth and John Dutton would fight over Yellowstone Ranch. Warner is a bad guy, so it's not surprising that she doesn't have many good qualities. However, she is also a hard person to be around. She makes decisions for herself and doesn't care what other people think. When she forced the Duttons to give her a lease on their land, she never asked them why they wanted to keep the ranch undeveloped. Warner thinks that as long as she throws money around, everyone will do what she wants. She doesn't care if people like Carter get hurt in the process. Even though Jamie was an adopted son, John Dutton and his wife treated him like their own child. However, as soon as Jamie met his biological father, he turned on the family. Jamie was also a bad brother to Beth because he didn't comfort her when she thought she killed her mother and blamed herself for it. Jamie also told Beth a lie that a hysterectomy would make her unable to have children without her permission. For someone who tries to always do the right thing, Jamie's actions seem to cause other people too much pain and suffering. Still, he is a smart lawyer and easier to talk to than any of the Duttons. He doesn't know how to be his own person and do good things without hurting other people. Next, Thomas Rainwater and Monica Long. When John Dutton canceled the development projects, Thomas Rainwater went against his typical behavior and said that it was good for the land but not for him. He continued to say that he was fighting to protect the land, but he said that it was good for the land but not for him. It revealed his selfishness, which he had always tried to conceal by blaming the requirements of the tribe. He is an intelligent leader, but he does not care about his people or what is in their best interest. This is why Monica Long believes that life on the reservation will continue to deteriorate in the future, even after the graves of his ancestors had been destroyed by the developers, who had come because of the rainwater. He was still more enraged at John Dutton than he was at the developers themselves. Monica is an intelligent mother and lecturer. However, when it comes to fighting for the things that really matter, she is too far removed from reality to be effective. When Monica called Casey to report that she was experiencing cramps, he instructed her to remain still while he dialed the number for an ambulance. Instead of calling for help, she decided to drive herself to the hospital, which ultimately resulted in an accident that was fatal to the baby. Due to the fact that she is headstrong, she will not listen to Casey. Despite the fact that she married into the Dutton family, she has never had a particularly close relationship with them. She went so far as to label Casey's father and his entire family as evil, which was completely unjustified. Due to the fact that she is so certain of herself, she has never made an effort to comprehend the challenges that her family is facing. Moving on, Lloyd, Mo, and Tate Dutton. Even Rip likes Lloyd because he is so nice to people. He is the bunkhouse's father because he was so close to Jimmy that it felt like he was his real father. He is like a wise father figure to the younger cowboys, and they all look up to him. He is more patient than Rip, which is why Carter likes him better as a father figure. Lloyd is also the funniest person in the bunkhouse. He has a positive attitude that makes even the hardest times feel a little bit better, but he shouldn't have stabbed Walker because he was old enough to know better. Mo is Rainwater's right-hand man. Unlike his boss, who only cares about himself, Mo cares about the reservation. When the reservation police arrested Casey for killing the kidnappers, Mo helped him get out of jail and didn't argue with them like Rainwater did about whether or not it was legal. Mo also helped Casey find his way in life, even though Casey was a Dutton. He knows that it's better for the reservation for him to live peacefully with the Duttons than to bring in people from outside to develop the land and lower its value. He still has to find a way to get rid of Rainwater's control over the tribe. Tate Dutton is the family's hope for the future. Even though his mother didn't like it, he loves his grandfather and the ranch. He was the perfect Dutton until he was taken away. After that, he started acting out and making Casey and Monica's lives hard. In the 5th season, he came back older and wiser. He is the reason why Monica and Casey didn't get a divorce after they broke up. He reminds them of why they are better off as a family. Tate is also smarter than he should be for his age. He always asks the right questions and has a sense of humor that would make anyone fall in love with him. The best thing about the little man is that he is brave and smart when he is in trouble. Even though his arm was broken, he is smart enough to cut the seatbelt in the crashed car and call an ambulance for his mother. together. Next up, Linnell Perry and Teeter. The only person John Dutton can trust to give him good advice about politics is the former governor. Perry and John were a great couple at summer camp after Summer went to jail and broke John's heart. She almost made John the governor, which shows that she really cares about him. Jamie told John not to stop giving money to the developers, and Linnell agreed. She told John Dutton that he would have to play the game if he wanted to keep his job as governor. She always picks the right fight, which is why she helped save the ranch when she was in office. Perry is the only one who agrees with Jamie when he says the right thing, while the rest of the Duttons ignore him. When a cowgirl moved into the bunkhouse, it made that part of the show more interesting because Lloyd wasn't the only smart person there. Teeter showed up in style, doing everything the cowboys did better than most of them, and defending her skills to show that she wasn't an easy target. She is brave and funny, and she always says what she thinks. Like when she told Colby about how she really feels about him. One of the best things to come out of the bunkhouse is her friendship with Colby. She was the first person in the bunkhouse to stand up to Rip and defend her place with courage, which is something that not even the cowboys do. We now have Rip Wheeler and Casey Dutton. Rip Wheeler is the main reason why Yellowstone feels like the Wild West, and the ranch can't survive without him. He always keeps his head on straight and does the right thing for his family. His best leadership came out when he stepped aside to let Casey run the ranch. He always looks mean, which scares the cowboys into doing the right thing. Lloyd did the right thing when he lost his mind and stabbed Walker. Because of this, Rip and Beth are a great match because they never lose sight of what's important. Rip is always one step ahead of any threats to the ranch, which is why bears and wolves shot in the park by cowboys don't cause John Dutton any trouble. He also has a dark sense of humor that makes him seem dangerous but also makes people like him. Casey cares about Monica and Tate, so he chose to live away from the ranch on the reservation to keep them safe. Not only is he a good father, but he is also the quietest Dutton. He always takes the low road and helps his family whenever he can. Being the livestock commissioner has also shown that even after leaving the military, he never lost his desire to help people. Wild things that happen on the Yellowstone Ranch and in the rest of the state don't scare him at all. He is also John Dutton's only child who actually listens to him when he talks and doesn't let his ambitions cloud his judgment. Finally, John Dutton and Beth Dutton. If maintaining composure in the face of adversity were a person, they'd call themselves John Dutton. Even when his life is in danger, John Dutton doesn't appear to be afraid of anything because he always has plans in place for the worst-case scenario. This gives the impression that he doesn't have any fears at all. Tate Dutton's abduction failed to take John Dutton by surprise because he knew exactly who to contact in order to get things back in order because he isn't overly concerned about his own mortality. The news that he had cancer didn't shake his composure in the least. John Dutton is adept at dealing with people of all ages and personalities, from the obstinate Beth to the young Tate. Even when things are difficult, he ensures that everything continues to run smoothly. Beth Dutton behaves in a manner consistent with that of a blunt and rowdy farmer's daughter who is oblivious to the art of making small talk or exchanging pleasantries. Her impolite demeanor makes her difficult to get along with, but it also positions her perfectly to handle the Duttons' extensive roster of intelligent adversaries. When Rip was unable to muster up the courage to ask her to marry him, she asked him on his behalf and immediately began making preparations for their wedding. She is never vague about what it is that she desires, and she is not afraid to stand up for what she believes in, but she does not make an effort to be polite about it, and she does not seek gratitude for the many selfless acts that she performs. Unfortunately, guys, that is all the time we had for today. Who do you believe is the most likable character? Comment below. Make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Till next time, cheers!